Imagine a team where the newest member can challenge the CEO without fear. That's not a fantasy. It's the reality of teams with high psychological safety, and it's the science behind why some groups thrive while others just survive. Picture a team meeting where a junior employee openly questions the CEO's strategy. No eye rolls, no defensive rebuttals. Instead, the group pauses, considers the input, and refines the plan. This isn't an idealized training video, it's the operational reality of a team with high psychological safety. For decades, leadership fixated on charisma and strategy, but a quiet revolution in psychology has revealed a more fundamental driver of success: the belief that you can speak up, take risks, and be vulnerable without punishment. This is the unseen architecture of excellence, and it's changing how organizations think about performance. The term psychological safety was born in an unlikely place: hospital teams. In 1999, organizational scholar Amy Edmondson discovered something puzzling. The highest-performing medical teams reported more errors than lower-performing ones. They weren't making more mistakes, they were simply more willing to admit them. This willingness came from a shared belief that the team was safe for interpersonal risk-taking. It was a radical departure from the command-and-control model. Edmondson's work showed that fear was the silent killer of candid feedback, and that psychological safety was a distinct team-level trait, separate from trust or cohesion. In 2012, Google launched Project Aristotle, a massive study to understand what made its best teams tick. After analyzing 180 teams and hundreds of variables, the answer was clear. Psychological safety was the single most important predictor of effectiveness. Not ick, not experience, not personality mix. Teams where members felt safe to take risks outperformed all others, regardless of their composition. This finding catapulted the concept into mainstream business. It shifted the conversation from who is on the team to how the team operates. The core insight was profound. Talent is abundant, but the conditions for talent to flourish are rare. Project Aristotle identified 4 factors for team success: dependability, structure and clarity, meaning, and psychological safety. But safety was the foundation. Without it, clear goals lack the honest dialogue needed to achieve them. A meta-analysis by Frazier and colleagues examined over 100 studies and confirmed that psychological safety is consistently linked to information sharing, speaking up, and task performance. The effect sizes were moderate to large. This isn't a nice-to-have, it's a critical performance lever. Safety enables the other pillars to function, making it the bedrock of high-performing teams. Why is psychological safety so powerful? The answer lies in our biology. When a team member perceives a threat, like being criticized for a mistake, the brain's amygdala triggers fight or flight. This consumes cognitive resources, reducing working memory and analytical thinking. In an unsafe environment, the brain constantly scans for social threats, leaving less bandwidth for complex problem-solving. Conversely, safety activates the brain's default mode network, associated with creativity and empathy. A study in neonatal intensive care units found that teams with higher safety adopted life-saving technologies faster. The difference wasn't skill, it was the willingness to ask questions. Psychological safety isn't about being nice or avoiding conflict. In fact, high-safety teams often experience more conflict, but it's productive, task-oriented conflict, not personal attacks. Amy Edmondson distinguishes between productive conflict and dysfunctional conflict. Safe teams can argue passionately about ideas because they know the relationship will survive the disagreement. This is critical for learning. A longitudinal study showed that psychological safety mediates the relationship between high-quality relationships and learning from failures. Teams that felt safe conducted thorough postmortems, extracting valuable lessons rather than covering them up. Leaders often ask how to build psychological safety. The answer starts with framing work as learning, not execution. When leaders admit their own mistakes and invite input, they signal that vulnerability is safe. Simple practices like asking "What did we learn?" after a failure, rather than "Who is responsible?" shift the culture. Google's research shows that teams with high safety have higher retention and innovation. But building safety requires consistent effort. It's not a one-time training. It's about creating an environment where every voice is heard and where excellence emerges not from fear, but from freedom. Psychological safety isn't just a feel-good concept, it's the engine of high performance. If you found this valuable, consider how you can create more safety in your own team.